Are you looking for a way to scale your short-term rental business and buy more properties? Well, co-hosting might be the right fit for you. Welcome to the Cohost Coach podcast with Joe Roney. This episode of the Cohost Coach is brought to you by Savvy STR Agents. If you're looking to buy a short-term rental, then contact the STR Savvy Agent team at savvy.realty.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Cohost Coach. I am Joe Roney, and I am super excited to have my boy Matt Codd here today with the Cohost Bros podcast. How you doing, Matt?
Oh, what's up, Joe? How's it going, man? You're a real professional over there. You're just like, roll it up, buddy. Telling your guy in the back. I like it. I like it.
You know, I am really fortunate. I actually came and did a podcast in the studio about a year ago I was in a mastermind at the time, Builders of Authority mastermind, and I did his podcast. It was in the studio, and I'm like, dude, this is what I want. This is where I want to be. And that's how this podcast started, which, you know, we're not quite a year. What did we just say? 39 episodes. So
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, I have to push my own buttons, and you just got to say, push the button. Let's go. So I like it.
they edit it, they post it, they do a fantastic job here. So huge shout out to Half Coast Studios here in St. Louis. So
All right, half coast. Make sure I look pretty.
yes. So Matt, tell me a little bit about yourself. Kind of, you know, obviously, you know, most of my listeners know your podcast. I talk about your podcast, so I know they're probably already tuning into it, but we don't necessarily know you. So what got you into short-term rentals? How long ago? And what's your portfolio looking like right now?
Oh, so I'm just a guy. I don't know, like I've always loved real estate, and it wasn't like, and that sounds like everybody else, but it wasn't even that I didn't get a short-term rental to get a short-term rental. I didn't even think about getting a short-term rental. When I was in California before I moved to Texas, I was more into like subject to. So I was trying to, you know, cold call people who were foreclosing their houses, try to get their houses, flip those houses. And then COVID happened, so that was pretty crazy. So then we moved out here to Texas, and my wife was like, "Oh, I want a beach house," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I could swing it." So we went and bought a beach house. I did no due diligence. I did not even look at I just went to the area like one time because my neighbors owned a house there, and I was like, "Oh, this place is awesome. It's quiet. Nobody's bothering me. It's not busy. Like, okay, it's like the teeniest beach town in Texas you'll ever see ever." And I'm like, okay, let's go look at some houses. So I'm looking at this first house, and it was like we were under contract for like 380. And then we're like, there was all these things wrong with it, and we're like talking about it. And I was like, you know, if we do this, then, you know, we're not going to have a lot of money to put into this right now. You know, so it was like, okay, so we said, can you fix this, this, and this? And the seller basically came back and said, hey, if you want a new house, go build it yourself. And I'm like, all right, cool. One of the things was the electrical was a fire hazard, but you know, hey, if I wanted a house that wasn't going to burn down, I'd have to build it myself.
There you go.
So I found another house on the market, and it was at 170. The house was at 170, but it had been on the market for like a year. And I kind of look at that stuff a little bit. So I noticed that it was on market originally for 199, and it had been 165 days. So I'm like, okay. So I was like, all right, let's go over there and let's go check it out. So we checked it out, and we're like, you could tell they wanted to make it like a rental before, like a short-term rental. We walked through, we're like, okay, they remodeled it, but it was just like really terrible. The counter just were like brown, and they just picked the worst colors and the worst furniture, and the couch was from IKEA, and it was like an apartment arbitrage in Houston. They just bought everything off Facebook Marketplace. And so when we bought it, and I didn't know a lot about it at the time, I still didn't know a lot about short-term rentals. So we bought it, and I was like, okay. We offered 160, they accepted, but then the appraisal came back at like 135 because the town is that small. So the town is that small that within a half mile or a mile within the last 6 months, like they didn't have any comps. They didn't have any comps in the year. Like they didn't know how to comp this thing. So it came out like 135. So I was like, okay. And the realtor was like, no, they're not going to go any lower. They're not going to go any lower. I said, okay, look, I'll pay them 140 and I'll cover the gap. And he's like, all right, I'll see what they say. I'm like, I don't even want the furniture. Like, just thinking like, I don't want the furniture.
Yeah.
So we offered him 140, and they came back later that night. And he's like, you got it. And I'm like, oh shit. So we bought a beach house. And then I was like, okay. Me and my wife were talking about it. I was like, well, shit, now I got to pay for this thing. So I'm like, what are we going to do? So I was already listening to podcasts and stuff like that. And, it just kind of seemed like it was cool that, Sjogren and all them were doing that stuff. But I'm like, I wasn't like set on doing it. But then once I got this house, I was like, okay, well, got to make this work. So we got the house and we remodeled the whole house pretty much, even though it was just remodeled because it just was terrible. And we have really just Thai standards in general. Like, we're just weird.
Yeah.
So did all that, refurnished the whole house. We didn't even think we were going to buy all new furniture, but we were planning on keeping the beds. We slept in the beds one night and then it was like, you were 90 years old. So it wasn't worth it. So we had to buy new beds too. So we spent all this time on this house. And then I was like, I heard about AirDNA and I'm like, oh shit, let me look at this and figure this out. So I look it up on AirDNA. AirDNA said $9,000 for the year, $9,000. I was like, holy shit. So I was like, all right. So I listened to a lot of Bill's stuff and I'm like, okay, I'm going to run Facebook ads. So I'm going to do this, this, and this. So like the first year we ended up getting like 33. That's what I grossed 33 the first year. And everyone's like when I talk to other people about it, like, how did you do that? And I was like, I have no idea. I just did what everybody told me and I just stayed consistent and that's just what it is.
Yep.
So that's just what I did. It wasn't like, so don't run your numbers. Don't just be like me and just go buy a house and then hope for the best afterward. That's usually how people go into foreclosure. I have ADD, so it's not, yeah. So I like it. I enjoyed it. So I started doing it like, I joined Bill's mastermind. We did that. And then I started doing more property management versus co-hosting. So I do a little bit more property management than co-hosting. So I collect the funds in the trust account. I control the listings. I control the photos. I mean, in my contract, I'll give them the photos. If they want the photos, they can have them.
Yeah.
But I use them also for other marketing things. So I just now, like literally before we got on here, I created a video for a lead page for a Facebook ad for the business. And I basically used part of a walkthrough video for part of it from one of my clients' houses. But yeah, so there's that. But yeah, I just like short-term rentals, but I like real estate in general. So like you and I think we've had a conversation. Like I've been studying to get my real estate license, and I'm, not as savvy as you, but maybe I'll have enough time to finish it someday.
I just takes a little time. It's funny. I did when I got my real estate license in Missouri. I did it in 6 days. Took the in-person class, just did it in 1 week, done. And then when I did my Florida license test, which was quite a few years later, because I've been a realtor broker in Missouri for 6 years, and I've only been 2.5 down in Florida. It took me like 3 months to do my Florida license because fitting in online time is a lot harder than just saying I'm going to go to this class for 6 days. So,
so you went to the class, in-person class in Missouri, and you encompassed all the hours requirements in that class in 6 days?
in Missouri, it's 48 hours. That's it.
Oh,
So,
really?
yep. And in Florida,
Oh.
it's only 60 hours. But in Texas, you're at like, I don't know, 1,800 hours is what Aaron told me. It's like ridiculous.
Dude, it's like, I don't even know. I think it's like 6 30-hour or 7 30-hour modules. Like I made it to the first 30. And the thing when you do it online, it's like you do 30 hours and they proctor an exam. So you have to get a proctored exam and they're like, show me your calculator. I'm like, oh, fuck, it's my iPhone. I'm sorry. Let me find something else, So yeah, it's a little nerve wracking, but
It's tough. Yeah.
it is crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot to get your license down there. But man, I tell you what, it's especially in the industry, if find your niche, especially in the short-term rentals. There are so few short-term rental realtors out there. And the reason why I got my license in Florida is I bought my first short-term rental. Similar to you, I did know what AirDNA was, but all I knew what to do was to type in the address in the calculator and tell me what I'm supposed to do, which is about the equivalent of not using AirDNA, as you know. So when I bought my first one, I was like, man, there's just no real estate agents down here that even know this. And then as I started to learn more and more and become more of a short-term expert, I was like, man, I think I can do something in this market. So I may live in St. Louis, but I'm still selling real estate in Florida, and I was just there yesterday. So
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you on the plane like 3 a.m.
yeah, I got in there pretty early. Did an 18-hour round trip, came back home, and now I'm going back again on Sunday because we just picked up 2 new co-host properties that we didn't expect to get. So we got to go down and bring those online real quick. So
Yeah, I don't know if Joe tells you guys, like, I mean, all he does is like not sleep and work, and then every once in a while he like throws a what is it, cornhole bag, and then he swips at his pool, and that's just what he does. The rest of it is working.
there's a
So,
few hours that go into it. So, but you've been hustling, man. I've been watching what you're doing. So the short term rental that you bought for 170 had a little bit of a mishap this past year and had to do a little remodel.
yeah, it was totaled by a hurricane. Yeah, it was totaled by a hurricane last year, Hurricane Beryl, and I had guests checking out the day of the hurricane and guests checking in the day of the hurricane. So the day before the hurricane, the guest said, "Hey, we're going to check out early. Don't worry about a refund." And the other guest said, "Hey, can we check in a day later?" And I was like, "Yeah, no problem." So well, once the neighbors got out there with the drone and they sent me pictures, I had to say, "Hey, can you cancel? The house kind of got destroyed." So we had talked to the lady back and forth a bunch of times. She was super cool about it. She canceled her trip. Airbnb still had to review me, and she gave us a 5-star review anyway. So
Nice.
that was sweet. Um, and cool little marketing tactic for people. Like if that happens, just block off your calendar. And then when you get back on the platform and your house is fixed, just send everybody a nice little message how, your house was hit by hurricane. It's newly remodeled. It's, new and improved just for them. And you added all these amenities and this and that. And you will flow your bookings right back in before anybody even searches.
Yep.
So
Yep. I'm
reach out to
assuming
your
you're gonna
past
beat that
guests.
33 this year.
And that's the plan. I mean, that's the plan. I mean, I crushed May, not so much in June, but there's been a lot of rain. I mean, I had to block off 4 days, 5 days. I had 9 inches of rain in one day,
Oh wow.
though everything was flooded, which is common.
Yeah.
Plus, so when it floods like that, or if it rains like that, people don't want to come, and then that makes it a little rough. But May, I mean, we crushed May, so it'll make up for the crap June we had. But July seems to be on track, so it's up and down. It's a tiny town, like I said, it's really small. I mean,
Yeah.
super small. No one's ever heard of it.
Yeah.
So,
It's you know what in this business, I mean, there's what I've read 13,000 different short term rental markets in the United States, right? I mean, there's
mhm.
opportunity in every single one of them, and and not every super property's got to be the multi-million-dollar mansion. You can be the top performing two
Yeah.
bedroom in your market and still be a super property.
Well, I don't think people understand either because they want to look at like, oh, well, they want something and they want to make it a super property, but at the same time, it's like if you're in a market and you can get a good price and you can out design or out, you can out host, out design everybody, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, if you could find a house and you can add the amenities that other people don't have, it is a small market like that, like in my market. I mean, you'll crush because it's like nobody has a horseshoe pit. For instance, I have a horseshoe pit. Nobody has one. They don't have one. I have one because people want to stay outside when they come. They don't want to stay inside. I'll add different things that other people don't have. And I don't think they have that luxury either because they can't afford to upkeep their houses. A lot of their houses are mildewy and, they're more
Yeah.
fishing cabin like, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah. So
kind of shifting gears into your property management business. So obviously, you decided to get into co-hosting slash property management, I guess, a little bit before you did this podcast and been growing that over this past year. You're obviously probably not co-hosting in your little beach town. So where are you growing your business at?
I'm not in my beach town. I do have some leads though. So I do reach out to people here and there. There's not a lot of money to be made. So right now we have places in Houston and in Galveston. A couple on the line, Kima, a couple on the line, Bay Cliff, which is really weird market. I don't know if I want to go to that market, but it's all pretty much within a 2 hour radius of each other. Um, Galveston's an interesting market because half of it, like you could do decent in the winter, and like if you're on the east end, but if you're on the west end, it's they say it's the Cold War. It's
Wow.
totally you're like on an island by yourself because there's nothing to do. All there is the beach right there. It's
Yeah.
not they're not doing any of the extra stuff. So
Yeah.
they're interesting markets in Houston. I mean, hey, screen your guests. I'll tell you guys that. I mean, if you're in a metro, just screen your guests as much as you can. So, um, but yeah, I do a little different. I mean, I'm more focused on setting processes in place for like if I grow, like as I grow, like as I'll bring on people. So like
Yep.
my biggest thing is like automation. So like onboarding sucks. So my biggest thing is like I want to be able to onboard like from contract to send out the contract to collect everything to collect my onboarding sheet. I want to be able to do that like a button. So right now I'm working on a bunch of scripts and like Google and some set up with Make. And so basically it's like I'll type in the tech fee, I'll type in the person's name, their address, their email, and what their onboarding cost is, automatically populate my contract. It'll get an email sent for approval. I'll approve the contract if it's filled out correctly or with the team. Send it over to DocuSign, send the W-9 to DocuSign. They'll sign those things. It'll go to QuickBooks, send them an invoice, and at the same time, it'll send them a survey they fill out, put in all their services. So a lot of people don't like get the water, gas, sewer, electric, all that stuff from the owner. Get it from the owner. Don't try to figure it out yourself. So like basically I have a note, or not a note, of Google Forms. So they basically, it has all those services, and if they select yes, they have them, then it will continue on with like the information, and then that information will automatically populate into my onboarding form. Then after that, so I'll complete my onboarding form. We'll go to the onboarding person that I pay to do. So that's what I'm decided I'm going to do from now on, is I'm going to pay somebody in my area to do that. They're going to fill out that complete form. That form's going to be sent to me, and it's going to automatically get compiled into a Word document. So it'll be like a living Word document. So if there's any kind of issues with the house, the VA or whoever can just scroll down to it. Or you can even take the document, throw it in Host Buddy if you use Host Buddy. Have a lot of good information. And then basically, so it's basically just like a living document for each house.
Wow.
So everybody can have it. So that's kind of what I'm working on. I'm kind of a nerd like that. So
Yeah, it's funny. Right before I came here, me and my wife were just sitting down talking about processes and putting together forms and docs. And I am, I'm a go kind of guy. I am not the most organized person in the world. My wife is the type A organization person in our family. That is not me. I'm a flying by the seat of my pants sometimes. Don't get me wrong. I do plan out my day, and I have to. I structure it really well. And when it comes to real estate paperwork, like, we are to the T. But what you're talking about is way beyond the level of organization that I personally am, which is why I have my wife. So
I have to, because I'm not organized either. And I mean, my wife is organized as well, but it's like, there's just certain things I want. I want my life to be easier. I want to know that as soon as somebody signs, that all their folders are already built in the drive, and all the folders that are corresponding with the house are there, and the contract is there, and everything is there in that area. So it's the same thing. Like, every property, I use the same exact lock for every property. Why? I mean, everybody says, oh, well, that's what they want. I don't care what they want, because I want ease of use, for one, for the team. And for two, all I got to do is create one instructional video for the lock, and every guest at every house knows how to unlock it. It's a miracle.
Yep.
Can you believe it? So, I mean, I just look at it differently. The way I look at it is I want everything to be the same, no matter what.
I agree. We have, we're the same way on certain things. Everyone's got the same Ring camera, the same lock, the same door lock, the same pool alarms that go out to the pool. That way I don't have to, even the pool, the pools that I have that have heaters and I control the temps, they're all on one app. They're all on my iAqualink app. I can click to each different pool, manage them, turn on the heat, turn off the heat, whatever it is, all in one app. So definitely makes life easier when you can do that. So
have you had somebody who didn't have that and you had to make them install it?
So I have two properties right now that don't have the Wi-Fi. They don't have a Wi-Fi system at all. And I took them over last winter, and it's just a nightmare. And then someone left it on, and I can't see it from where I am. And they had like a $400 gas bill, and I was like, hey, we can fix this really easily. Just let's get this hooked in. It's going to cost them a few grand, and we're going to be good to go. So they said, make me some money this summer, and we'll install those this fall. And I think we're up 34% from last year for them right now. So we're going to increase their revenue by about $60,000 on the year for the two properties that we're managing. So they're happy. They're okay spending the extra money.
All you gotta do is run their gas bill up for 2 more months too, and they'll buy it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Just keep it on. It's like, I don't know what's happening. But
it's like a whole controller, huh? It's probably a whole controller that controls the whole system.
It is. You have to install the whole controller, and then hook your Wi-Fi. Because, like, on the newest one that we just got done, like, I can control the waterfall feature from my phone. I can control the lights from my phone. I can control the heater on my phone, all of that stuff. And I can also set it on timers, which is what I do. I have the waterfall and the waterfall come on from like noon until 10, and then the lights are coming on from 7 to 11, whatever it is. That way they're just automatically coming on at night. It's all LED. It's not gonna burn out, and I don't have to have a guest calling me at 11 p.m. saying, "Hey, how do I turn the lights on in the pool?" So,
Is the heat, you have to set the heat yourself for a certain amount range of time?
Yeah,
that what you
well,
do?
if they pay for it, I just set the temperature for the whole time they're there, and then it's
Oh,
with
okay.
that temp the whole time. So, but yeah, it's not a
I'm
bad
I'm
deal.
thinking, how do we automate this? That's why I was wondering. Like, okay, if you have to go set the temp manually every time, how do we fix this?
Yeah, it's just turning
Is
it on
there
and
a
off,
way?
and I'll tell you, like, Bill, he just keeps it on the whole winter, and he just charges when they do, and doesn't when they don't, and takes the extra cost. I'm gonna try that with one of my houses this year on my own, and see how much my utility bill goes up by just keeping it heated the whole time, compared to the one that I'm turning it on and off. So we're gonna
I
see.
think that would probably be a similar cost though,
It
because
might
the
be.
pool's heated all the time.
Yep.
So,
So you're not
I
having that
mean,
startup cost to go from 60 degrees to 84 or 86 or
yeah.
whatever it is. So
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I do something similar like with my door locks. So, like I set them a lot earlier than check-in, but obviously to get early check-in and things like that. So, like, yeah, there's other things that I mean, we also implemented Happy Guests in our system. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So,
uh
we're kind of checking that out and vibing with them a little bit.
what
It's
do they
pretty
do?
neat. It's like a guest journey pod or guest journey platform. And so when you go and book the property, you're sent to this link to this platform, and you go to this platform, and that's where you can sign your rental agreement that you already have into Happy Guest. You don't have to upload one; you just copy and paste it. That's where they can purchase the Wavo insurance if they want to, or they could put whatever your desired deposit is or card hold, and it'll have their check-in instructions. They could purchase early check-in. They could purchase whatever else you kind of add to it if you're like host code, things like that. Um, it's very convenient. Plus, you can mark up um the damage waiver fee. They get you get a pretty good deal on it. So like the damage waiver fee with them, I think is $37. I think if you go to Wavo yourself, it's like 39, something like that,
Yeah.
for $1,500. And then if you're doing damage waivers through Verbo, I mean it's $59 for $1,500. So basically, I charge $49, and then the days after 10 days is $1.50 a day. So I'll charge $3 a day on that. The only thing is, like, for all my Airbnb reservations, I pay for that out of pocket. So I just charge them, a higher cleaning fee or management fee.
Yeah.
But I pay for that out of pocket just because to me, it's easier. I don't like to have to be like, hurry up and get the, purchase this or whatever. The people on Verbo are used to it, but I mean, sometimes you get a little pushback on Airbnb, and I try to make it easy. And if I could pay for everybody's, I would. If I could
Yep.
pay for everyone, if they could turn that setting on, they haven't got there yet. So it's cool. I mean, first day I implemented, I got early check-in for 2 hours and made like $12 on a waiver. So I was like, okay, this is pretty good. So it's pretty decent, and they'll do all your messaging for you, depending on the platform you're on. So they do OnRes, Hospitable, and a couple other ones. So if you go, and it's free, it costs you nothing, by the way. So I forgot about that part.
Interesting.
So if you onboard with them or decide to go with them, they will, like, basically you add them admin privilege, and they will set up all your messaging for you, and then you'll have like a go live call, and they say, look, you want to turn it on, here's what you do, here's what this says, change it if you want to, and boom, you just go live.
Nice.
So it's like a guidebook in your hands, kind of.
Nice. Nice. I'll have to check that out. So, definitely something I need to look at. I'm doing the $500 security deposit with everyone this year, and I honestly haven't had any issues with it instead of going through the damage protection, but I could go both ways with that. So, I only manage luxury homes though. So all of my homes are 4 and 5 bedroom homes. So $500 security deposit is not as big of a deal rather than if you were renting a little 2 bedroom house where someone's only spending $500 for the whole stay. So
Yeah, but you make a killing on those damage waivers then. I
yeah,
mean,
could be
they probably
interesting.
wouldn't want their card held for $1,000. They'd probably rather pay the damage waiver. What's the extra $50 to them?
Yeah.
I mean, that's $12 a shot, dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll talk about that offline. I'll shoot you the link so you can check it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty neat.
Nope.
So,
Good deal.
and if
So
you guys decide to sign up, make sure you say I sent you since I'm here.
yep.
I mean, might as well.
That's right. That's right. So what are the goals for your property management company? Where are you looking at growing to, and what's your true vision of what you want it to be?
Um, I want to be. I don't want to say like the biggest and the best. I want to say. So right now, my goal is to make 100,000 a month in profit, net profit. Um, we're pretty profitable. I charge a tech fee on every property, so most technology I don't pay for. Besides like extra stuff that don't pertain to the property. So basically, like, they give me a tech fee. The tech fee covers their Ring cameras, covers their noise, their minute, covers the trust accounting software, covers all the hospitable, the price labs, all those softwares. It's like the one-offs that it doesn't cover, like my Calendly, whatever.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it probably does. I mean, my first client, I charged a lot higher tech fee too. So I'm still flirting with that, try to figure out where the tech fee, how I want to place it. So, um, we don't take any money from the business. I just dump it into ads. So I'm basically just dumping in ways to try to figure out how to grow. So, and I want to grow without calling you. Okay. So I'm not a cold call person kind of guy. I like talking to people. Cool. I'm super personable. I don't like cold calling. My wife doesn't like cold calling. Nobody likes cold calling.
Yep.
I don't think anybody likes cold calling. I think only Austin likes cold calling, to be honest with you. Um, so I don't like cold calling. So I want to do whatever I can to bring leads to me. So everybody I skip trace, I add to a Facebook ads list. Like I was telling you so recently, like the last like 30 days, I ran a Facebook ad, few $100 to the list just to see what the click rate was and to see if it converted to any calls. So spent a couple $100. It was like 50 cents a click, which I'm okay with at that time. That's fine. I'll take 50 cents a click, but only like 7 calls converted in 30 days. So I just literally, like I think I just mentioned earlier, I literally just got off before here making a video because my lead page was a text-based page. So so now I just made a video and I put it on the very top of my page, because at the top of the page is where you start and autoplay, kind of like about us and so on and so forth, to kind of be more personable to the same exact people. Like I'm sending it to a lookalike list and to the same list of all the leads that I had skip traced.
Yep.
Their emails, their phone numbers. So now we'll see if that converts better in 30 days. If it converts the way that I like it in 30 days, then I'll change the ad to lower my cost per click.
Yep.
But I need to figure out what converts better, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing about testing. So if I don't spend any of the money, I could just spend the money just testing shit. So that's what I do, test things until I figure it out, until I find that sweet spot.
Yeah.
And then I'll sell it to you guys for $59.95. No, I'm just kidding. But so that's really my plan, is just to make things smooth. But yeah, my ultimate goal with the business right now is to make 100,000 profit a month. Just because it seems like a good goal to have. I do want to be a large company, but at the same time as I want to do it slowly, methodically, and correctly. So I don't want to be like, I don't want to come to a situation. I'm not one of those people. Like, I don't like I'll fly by my pants in anything, but when I'm like planning on like how I'm going to do something like this, I don't want to fly by my pants. Like, I don't want to be like, oh fuck, I don't know. I don't know if we can cuss on here. I'm sorry. If I don't know, that's a problem for me.
Yeah.
So like the way I look at it is I need to look like 10 steps ahead.
Yep.
Okay, what can I do that if I put this person in this place, what's going to be easier for them and make less problems for me, right? So that's the way that I look at it. So I'm trying to go at it from that direction, not just like, let me call, give me a client, let me get a client, let me get a client, let me get a client. Because I feel like once you do that so many times, and I know that you have a whole group that you guys talk about that, and I think once you do it, because I've seen it, and it's once you just grab so many clients and that's all you're focusing on, then you're like buried and trying to figure it the fuck out, because you have so many other things that you have to figure out. There's so many logistics that people don't take into account, right? Like the organization, like you're saying, SOPs. I mean, everything. I mean, so it's like, and they're like, oh, I got to hire somebody. But if I hire somebody and I can't teach them, then what do I do with the person? What am I hiring them to do? They better be good at cold calling, because you're going to have to figure out the rest.
Yeah, but I'm not a big fan of cold calling either. I cold called my first 2 co-host clients, and I haven't cold called anyone since. Everything else has been referrals, social media, being really active. I've turned down at least 30 properties this year, of people that called me and wanted me to manage for them. Probably at least 1 a week on average now, that I'm turning down because I'm very selective. I only want high quality properties. 1 to 2 blocks on the beach, 4 to 5 bedrooms or more, in-ground pools, the whole works. That's all I want. But that's my business. That's my goal. I don't want 100 properties. I want 15. So, and I'm at 11 right now. So I'm pretty close to where I want to be. So, love to hear the different goals of everyone, because so many people are getting in this business and everybody's got different goals and objectives, and that's okay. It's okay for you to want to be, where you want to go, or somebody wants 200 properties or 50 properties. It doesn't matter. As long as you have clear goals and you know what you're doing and you're going to figure out how to get there. So, I love how you're going out about the business though, because, you have a regular job. You're not going into this to say, okay, I have to make X amount of dollars on this right now, to pay my bills. You're building a business that you don't even really need at the moment, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I do work a W-2, and and to your point, I want to build it to where I don't like I could still work my W-2 and the business works itself, really, honestly.
Yep.
Like if I was sitting at work and I was collecting whatever, let's just say, I don't know, 50,000 a month, let's just say, and I'm sitting at work collecting it, and I only got to talk to other people like 4 hours a week, I really don't care what the
Yep.
problem. My life is pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not really concerned. So yeah, no, it's no rush for me to get out of my job. Would it be nice to just be able to turn around one day and just be like, hey, you know what? You do the whole half baked thing, But so it's like that would be great. But at the same time, it's like I don't have to. So
Yeah.
it's not a super big goal of mine to be able to quit. It's a goal of mine to hit that number. And it's also, I mean, yeah, it is a goal of mine to be able to if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I haven't really decided on that, whether when I would want to quit. Austin's real big on like, oh, you're quitting this year. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I mean, I got it pretty easy. I got it pretty good. I mean,
Yep.
I go to work I get off pretty early. I kind of make my own hours. I'm the boss. I take my own leave whenever I want. I don't really have many issues. So
Yeah.
it's not a problem with that. I was going to ask you, Joe, though. Did your first property start off that way? Luxury 4 or 5 bedroom with a pool?
It was a 4-bedroom cabin in Branson, and I still co-host it to this day. So actually my first 2 properties were both in the same community, 4-bedroom cabins in Branson. They were doing like 35 to 40 grand a year, and we're doing like 75 now, somewhere in there, on both those cabins. And they were great first properties. The very first one was actually, I was on the board of directors for this baseball and softball association here in St. Louis. So I ran the largest softball organization, in the entire St. Louis market. And we had over 400 teams. I ran the select softball side, which was like 90. And I was at a banquet dinner, and one of the families was at dinner with us that we invited, that had been with the organization a long time, and sat down at dinner with them. And they had they had a property in Branson that they weren't real happy with their manager. And I had just bought my first short-term rental 3 months before. I'm like, well, I can manage it for you. And the rest is history. And that's how co-hosting began. I had already started thinking about it. I had just done Bill's boot camp and joined his accelerator program at the time. So I knew it's something that I wanted to do. And then I just happened to be at dinner with the right person. And the Burrows family is fantastic. I've been with them for, over 3 years now, and, really grateful for them. So, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 months. It was meant to be.
Yeah. I mean, this was September, actually 2.5 months. It was the end of November. We closed on September 9th on our first STR. And this was like November, like right before December, like 29th, 30th weekend. So yeah, not even a full 3 months after I started managing my own STR, I picked up a co-host property. Now, we didn't take it over until January, because it was in the middle of, in Branson, it's peak season in November and December. So they were in the middle of peak season for that market. So we took it over in January. They gave us a couple thousand to remodel and redesign a few things. And their bedding at the time was still original bedding from when it was built 12 years prior. So we kind of made a few updates, and it's been doing well ever since. So
Nice.
yeah, so that one was organic. And then I was like, well, I wanted another one of these cabins. So I actually called the neighbor that's like right across the street, found out he wasn't doing very well. He didn't like his property manager, and that was the second one. And then I cold called my first Panama City Beach property. I found a property that was underperforming really badly, and I cold called him. And it took me 6 months to talk him into it, but he finally said yes. And I've been co-hosting for that client ever since the beginning as well. So,
See, that's a nugget in itself right there.
yep.
Follow up. It took him 6 months to get that client.
Yep. He called me.
Follow up.
you talk about hustling. This client called me at on Sunday and said, "Hey, I'm going to be at my property tomorrow." He did not know that I didn't live in Panama City Beach. He's like, "Can you?" Or this is on Saturday. He's like, "Can you meet me Monday at the property to walk through it and we can talk about it?" I'm like, "Sure." So I drove the 12 and a half hours on Sunday, got a hotel room, met him at 9 a.m. on Monday morning. We toured his property for 2 hours. I got in my car at 11 a.m. and I drove back home and I was home before midnight. That was my 48-hour whirlwind to get my first Panama City Beach co-host property.
Then all the way home, you were saying, God, I hope this goes through.
And he didn't sign until August. So,
Yeah, follow up.
yes. So,
I'm sure you followed up with them numerous times.
but, well, Matt, I appreciate you coming on, man. They gave me my my time slot. I like to keep mine at 30 minutes. I do love your guys' podcast. I get so much out of the Co-host Bros. So for everyone that's out there, if you are not listening to the Co-host Bros podcast, they have some really great guests. I mean, they're getting some of the best and the best. I mean, Julie George, Bill Faith. I mean, they're getting the goats in the industry are all over your podcast. And I, someday I'll get some of those high up people to, come up on here. But man, I'm really, really grateful for you joining me today. And if people were looking for a property manager in your area, how can they find you?
Yeah, if you want to hit me up for property manager, you can find me at www.hurry-days.com, or you can just DM me on Facebook or Instagram. Just type in the last name CODD. You'll find me real easy. But yeah, no, I appreciate everything you're saying, Joe. And we do have some more big names coming up for you guys soon. So hopefully y'all tune in.
Yep. I was one of the OG guests. Maybe I'll get an invite back someday and,
Yeah.
come chat again sometime. But anyway, I appreciate you joining. Till next time, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Co-host Coach, and I'll see you next week.